How's it going? It's me, the Millionairman. Probably don't know who I am, which is fine, but hopefully I can give you some information which will make you want to come back and get to know me, and hopefully I can help you and you can share these videos that I produce to help other people. My passion in life, which I'm fortunate enough to have found, is personal finance. I love talking to people about it, and I love helping people understand how they can get out of whatever financial situation they may be in and turn it around, prepare themselves for their future. Throughout the years, I've gained some knowledge on how to manage money. I had my first job when I was 11. I used to follow my mom around when she worked at a restaurant, and being an 11-year-old cute kid, I used to get pretty decent tips. I can remember one summer where I got $100 in one day. I was super excited, and I opened up my first bank account. At that moment, I learned the importance of saving money and putting it away. I used to love playing video games when I was younger, and they would always get these like little small orbs. You kill like a bad guy, and you get these little orbs to get your powers up. And after killing 100 million of those things, you get like a little superpower that you get to use. And I realized that, if I collected these things and didn't use that superpower every single time, then when I got to the big boss, he or she would be super easy to kill. And that principle stuck with me through life most of the time. My first official job, I was 16 years old, and I worked at Pizza Hut. And I was always the type that I loved being independent, so I can remember I went downstairs in my little uniform and I asked my parents to take me to work, and they were like, "You got a job?" So I've always been super independent and learned some valuable lessons with money. After leaving that job, actually I got fired, but I don't want to talk about that right now. After I left that job, I had a couple $1,000s that was able to sustain me from my high school year, my last year in high school, and get me to my next place of employment. But once I got to my next job, the money was tight, and I knew that I never wanted to be in that position ever again. And it kind of showed me that life in the real world is pretty tough. I can remember working at Walmart and absolutely hating it, and seeing some people there and not wanting that to be my future. So I started doing other things to be involved with my school and the community, student government president. I worked for political campaign, because that's another thing that I'm super passionate about. And I met somebody while working at the campaign who told me about the stock market. And I didn't fully understand what he was talking about, but it did plant that seed in me going forward. So when I worked at Walmart, I did participate in the 401k. I put, I think, $50 a month from my paycheck into it. And, I didn't notice it, so I didn't miss it. Over time, it did grow, not substantially, but it did show me, hey, the market moves, and when you put money in the market, your money will move with it. So that was really cool. Going back to not wanting to stay at Walmart and really not loving school. So I knew the importance of it, but I didn't really want to stay in that position. So I decided that I would join the United States Air Force. Joining the Air Force was one of the best decisions I've ever made up to that point. I didn't know it yet, but there are so many advantages that are associated with the service that aren't advertised. After a year of service, I managed to save $7,000. A year after that, another $8,000, and then finally over six figures in just 6 years. My 5th year of service, I really started to understand what it meant to invest and how to make money grow. So the first 5 years was literally just me saving, making sure that I was living below my means. The military makes that really easy because they provide insurance, they provide housing, they provide food. The big stuff the military takes care of for you, so that was really easy. I was good at managing my money, but while I knew where my money was, I wasn't sure where to really assign it. That's when I learned the importance of investing and having your money work for you. So I got introduced to Dave Ramsey, started listening to his show. I thought it was really great. I loved some of the things that he talked about, debt reduction, but that really wasn't where I was in my life. Debt was never really a big part of my life. I never understood the concept of not paying for things that you couldn't afford. Just didn't really make sense to me. But I've seen it all throughout my life, and I understand how people can go through that and not really understand how to get themselves out of that situation. So I was looking at ways to make my money work for me. I was always had my money in high yield savings accounts, and I think high yield back then was probably like maybe 0.23 or 4%, something like that. And I think I had at one point probably 8 or 9 different savings accounts. I had one for a car, one for a house, one for gifts, one for vacation, one for miscellaneous spending, and I had my emergency fund, and some other ones. Like, I just had tons and tons of accounts. And then I learned how to consolidate all those and really make it work best for you. I remember getting excited every month because I could check my emergency fund saving account and I could see, hey, I made $15 this month. And I used to get really excited about that, which is great. Throughout my military career, I started gaining more knowledge about some of the great advantages that the military offers. Specifically the TSP, which is just an awesome 401k employee benefit type of retirement system that is specific to the military and federal employees. It's fantastic, and I found that I love to teach people about that. So I was working with somebody, and this individual was going through some situations, and I was working with this person about on their budget and everything. And I remember my supervisor, as I was talking to this individual, came and said, hey, don't listen to him. You need to go to Airman Family Readiness because they actually know what they're talking about. That made me pretty upset because I knew that the information I was giving this individual was the correct information and would end up helping them. But I also realized, the world works the way the world works. So after that, I started researching how I could get some sort of, certification backing behind my name. And I found Command Financial Specialist designation. It's a week-long course that I sat through with the Navy. They taught me a whole host of things about specific military finance issues and personal finance issues, to include how to buy a car, house buying, insurance, things of those natures that everybody should understand. I know I wasn't taught the basics, but I did learn them, and I understand how difficult and time-consuming it can be to learn them. One of my biggest ways of learning was personal reading, and then of course YouTube videos. And that's really why I saw this as a opportunity, because I would go online and try to find more information and really couldn't find it. I mean, there are tons of great people that are on YouTube and the internet and as a whole spread information, and I thought I'd lend my voice to give a different perspective, maybe something that you didn't get elsewhere. Hopefully this channel is something that will help you along the way. I look forward to answering questions and sharing some of my experiences that have helped me along the way. Of course, I've got Millionairman.com where I post blogs. Still working that website out. And I know sometimes just seeing other people go through things, watching that process can be motivational to you. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. My goal is to, bring in other people. I want to, with this channel, give a perspective from my side, the things that I go through. As an enlisted person, as a young professional. And also, I hope that this channel, I can bring other perspectives, people who are also, working through either getting out of debt or, chasing that first 10,000 in their savings account or buying their vehicle or things like that. So that's kind of my hope. Again, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and my website, all Millionairman. So you can find me on all of those platforms, and don't be afraid to connect with me. So, as every YouTube says, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hopefully we can make this thing worldwide. Not some title, so no. I love WWE too. All right.